What's up, guys? Welcome to another video. I'm gonna be doing the use memo and use callback hooks, React hooks. So we'll see where we get with the use memo, and then if there's enough time, I'll continue on with the use callback. And like I say in every video, this is I'm learning, so please don't think that I'm an expert at this, and this is not a tutorial. This is just me learning and trying to learn all the hooks and how to use TypeScript in React properly, the proper way. So yeah, I'm gonna import state, and I'm gonna also import use memo. So wow, can't type. So export default function home return, just return a normal div, and all right. I need to start the server. Run start, and we'll just go over here, set up the host 3000 memo. I'm using what's this, Next.js. So run dev So yeah, like I said, I'm using Next.js, and that's the reason for all this stuff, and having a page.tsx inside of a folder. So there we go, we have memo. Just gonna the usual. Alright, so what do I do now? I don't even think I'm gonna be using that. I'm gonna go through the tutorial. So I have an idea of how use memo works, but yeah, and I had to research the meaning of memoized. Yeah, so the React use memo hook returns a memoized value. Think of memoized as caching a value so that it does not need to be recalculated. The use memo hook only runs when one of its dependencies update. This can improve performance. The use memo and use callback hooks are similar. The main difference is that use memo returns a memoized value and use callback returns a memoized function. So that's the only difference. This returns a value, this returns a function. You can learn more about it in here. Performance. The use memo hook can be used to keep expensive, resource-intensive functions from needlessly running. So in this example, we can have an expensive function that runs on every render. When changing the count or adding a to-do, you will notice a delay in execution. A poor performing function, the expensive calculation function runs on every render. Expensive calculation, this function runs on every render. So as you know, React re-renders a lot depending on what's changed, and I guess the use memo hook is just to help with all that, just like so that whenever there's a re-render, only render the things that you need to render. Everything else, especially functions that are expensive, don't re-render them if you don't need to. So I think this is a base example, and then this is a use memo example. So what's happening here is that there's a method, there's a function increment, there's a function added to do. Also, this is a simple to do app where you just add to dos. So to-do. This maps through all the to-dos, place them here. This button adds a to-do, add to-do, add to-dos, new to-do. Okay, it'll just, inside this array, it'll add a new to-do. And then there's a count div here, displays the count. When the button is clicked, when there's an increment, run the expensive calculation. So there are two things that are happening here. So I'm just going to copy all this code. I'm going to have these methods over here. And then I'm going to have this function over here. That's outside of my React function. So set to do's. This is this. No. Argument of type t any to any array is not assignable to parameter of type set state action never. Type t any to any array is not assignable to type previous state never. Jeez, man, I really need to get my TypeScript in because I don't understand. Well, this is a void. No. Returns any. I'm sure I could have said return a string array. No, this is not a string array. Set to do's. Wait, set to do. This whole thing will return an array. And it'll return a string array. String array. So this what is T? Set to do's. Is a function and returns a string array, an array of strings. But what is this that we take? I'll look into that. Anyway, let's run the application. Do we have an issue? Use state. Didn't add use client. Still, you're importing a component that needs use state. It only works in a client component, but none of its parameters are marked with use client. Didn't I just do that? Okay, I just did. So what actually ends up happening if I added to do, is this even working? Okay, there we go. I can't understand if it's my computer that's acting up or okay. It's very slow. Oh, okay. It's slow because there's an expensive function that's happening. So what's actually happening is that whenever I run add to do, which is here, this function, whenever I click on add to do, it goes into this and it sets the method. Wait, no man, is that what's happening? Oh yes, okay. So whenever I add a to do, it adds a to do to my array. However, and then the app re-renders. But then when it re-renders, I think this calculation needs to run. This calculation runs, and then it takes a while to execute, and then only when it's done executing, the page renders. So, and we don't even need to click on this, right? I'm sure this also is a render. Click on that, it's rendering just like it would with added to do. Takes a while, and then it does that. So it's because of this runs, and it doesn't need to with every render. So use memo to fix this performance issue. We can use memo hook to memorize the expensive calculation function. This will cause the function to only run when needed. We can wrap the expensive function with call with use memo. The use memo hook accepts a second parameter to declare dependencies. This expensive function will only run when its dependencies have changed. In the following example, the expensive function will run when count is changed and not when to-dos are added. Right. Only when this is changed, not when to-dos are added. Got it. So performance example, okay. Use memo, use state, there's count, to-dos, there's this. I think this is the only thing that you add, really. Calculation equals use memo and add the expensive function inside of it, or run call a function that calls the function. Yeah. Anyway, calculation 2 is equals to a function, and inside that function we're going to call expensive calculation. I'm going to call it count. I just want to see. Okay, cool. Calculation 2. So instead of calculation, we'll run calculation 2. I was just trying to figure out the type for the calculation to what type would it be. This would obviously be number. Like what's the type for calculation 2? Like what's the return type? Is it and I know this would be a number, right? It just returns a number. This returns a function. This just calls a function. So is it void? It's not void, I guess. Wait, what am I doing? Like that. So I guess it's void. It's not returning anything. And then we're gonna call calculation 2. And we're gonna get rid of that. There we go. Void is not assignable to type React Node. I need to do my due diligence on React Node and really figure out exactly what that is. Let me just see. So is this a type React Node? Okay, let me just say any. I'll just move on. It's not assignable to type React Node, right? Okay, I need to research what exactly that is. I have my coffee here as usual. What exactly am I receiving? Type void is not assignable to type node. Also need to use ChatGPT. I might need this to explain the types, certain types. I'm getting an error while calling the function. This is just for practice, so I kept everything inside app.tsx. My class looks like this. I don't have the patience. Let me start off by saying in the context React node is not is not a specific type, but rather a type alias used to describe the various types of values that can be rendered as part of a React component output. React node is typically used in TypeScript to specify that a component can accept or render a wide range of content, including JSX elements. Hold on, let me do this. Does this mean that I need to maybe I'm doing something wrong? Let me just check something real quick. Interesting. Oh wow, look at that. I'm not even using the use memo hook. Dude. Like we need to tell it what, like when it's going to run, only when count is manipulated. It's just like the use effect hook. And we still have an error. Void is not assignable to type React node. So what would be the type in this case? This returns a momwise, what does it say? It returns momwise value. So calculation 2 would be a number, right? No? Void is not assignable to type number. So does that work? So my to-do app now works perfectly, and then the count. But is the count, is it, no, where's my value? I can't find my value. Let me do this. I'm confused. Dude, it's the types. Okay, wait. What happened? Let's start over. Count, and then it works. No? Class. Whoa. Okay, let me just reduce this. Alright, that's better. Okay, let me just increase it by 2 zeros and refresh. Add, boom. Seems to happen in QuickTime, but I guess that's what it is. Just increase the state with another 0. Do that again. Boom. Takes a little bit of time. There we go. But the to-dos happen instantaneously. Alright, that makes a lot of sense. I really need to understand the types. So, okay, I got that. Let me just read this. Oh wow. Really? So does this mean that here I can, this is a React node, like that? Oh, it's a React node, it's like what you basically pass to DOM, right? I'll read this again because I can see here children is a React node. So in this example, my component can accept any content as its children prop, and the React node type indicates this flexibility. So React node is a way to specify that a component can accept a wide range of content types as children and render them within the component. In React, you create components that display things on a web page. These components can show text, images, buttons, and more. React components can also have child components, which are like pieces of content that you put aside a parent component. Now, TypeScript is a way to make your React code more reliable by specifying what types of data your component can accept. I need to read that again. Now, TypeScript is a way to make your React code more reliable by specifying what types of data your components can accept and return. True. The React node type is like a special way to say, I can accept various kinds of content inside my component. It's used when you want a component to be flexible about what it can show. Here's how it works. Imagine you have a component like a box. Imagine you have a component like a box and you want this box to display different things inside of it. You might want to put text, images, buttons, or even other components inside the box. With React Node, you can say that your box can accept all these things. You can use the React Node type to describe what your component's content can be any of the following. JSX elements, like they are HTML tags, but for React, you can put things like div, p, or custom components like my button inside of your box. Text and numbers, you can also put regular text or numbers inside your box. For example, you can put hello world or 42 inside of it. Fragments, if you want to group several things together inside your box, you can use React fragments. They help you keep things organized without adding extra HTML elements. Arrays of React nodes, if you want to put multiple items inside your box, you can use an array. The array can contain any of the following content types. Here's a simple example of using React Node. Boom, 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 interface my box props. This interface logic is very confusing to me. I think it goes back to my studies of children, and so now I need to think in a more of a child way. I remember children, and I don't need to strain my brain too much, but I really did want to remember. It's right here. If I remember, you can push various things. It's like you call the actual modal. This is a modal function that I created here, and I can pass in certain things inside of the modal like this, and then now modal needs to take props of children here. So okay, these are the props, but it also must take children since I'm going to be passing children. And then now I can pass in props of children. If I had none of these, this would be empty, or it would have just an object. It will just be an object, right? An empty object. But then now, since I have these other props on top of children, now I have my props type, and my props type will have all these methods or values inside. So. And then now I have children, and then now I can just call children and it'll just display children, right? My box props of children. Okay, in this example, my box is a component that can accept different types of content inside of it. You can use it to put text, images, buttons, or other components inside of the box because it's defined to accept React Node as its children. Okay, so in my example, I could basically, let me see, it is React Node, expensive calculation. I mean, I could return maybe an H3 tag, for instance, right? And shouldn't have a problem. There we go. Wait, so here it is. And I can actually style this style, how would I do that? Color green. And now I need to do this type of thing. All right, there we go. So it will display any type of React node, because that's like basic, like JSX really. Oh, geez, I need to pause this. All right, back here, boys. Where was I? Okay, I was here. All right, so I get what React node is. I think I should just continue on. I get what that is. So now I need to continue on with what is it? Use callback, and try and see. So I understand what use memo is and what it does. I get it. Let's see, where was I? Is my internet slow? Okay, there we go. Okay, use callback. I'm just gonna create a new folder here. Callback, and I'm gonna create a new file called page.tsx. I'm gonna copy all the contents of use memo. I'm gonna paste them in here, and then we'll see what happens. Returns a memoized callback function. Think of memoization as caching a value so that it does not need to be recalculated. This allows us to isolate resource-intensive functions so that they will not automatically run on every render. It will only run when its dependencies update. So here, it's just like in the use memo, I guess if I could have multiple, what is the dependency? So this is a dependency account, which is the state. Whenever it changes, it will also change. So we could have multiple things, etc. In this case, we only have count. All right. So this can improve performance. Boom, boom, boom. This is what we read. One reason to use callback is to prevent a component from re-rendering unless it props. One reason to use callback is to prevent a component from re-rendering unless its props have changed. In this example, you might think that the to-dos component will not re-render unless the to-dos change. This is a similar example to the one in the memo. So this is the same. So this, yeah, you wouldn't think that changing to-dos has any effect on, wait. In this example, you might think that the to-dos component will not re-render unless the to-dos change. To-dos, here's the state, increment to-do, and then this button. I mean, now, and I know how React works, and obviously whenever a button, a state changes, then it re-renders the entire component. So to-dos will also be re-rendered, right? Anyway, to-dos.js. So this is, let's see. So here's to-dos, this is import. This is a memo. Wait, what is memo? Okay, there's a lot of reading I need to do here. So we have a function to-dos, console.log child render, to-dos, add to-dos, there's the props. I need to put on my React hat on and my thinking hat on here so that I can understand what exactly it is that I'm reading. Okay, so import memo. What is memo? const to do's. So this is, what am I exporting? Export default memo to do's. Memo. Anyway, so count to do's, increment add to do. Here we render to do's, we pass in the props to do's, we give it to do's. We pass in add to do. Also, we're passing in this method. We're passing in this the state value of to do's. We're also passing in the method to set to do's. So add to do, and then we have HR tag. Then we have a count. We have an on-click increment. So we also have a count state, and then just button. I guess this is just to increment the button. So whenever we add, boom, 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 adds the count. Boom, 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 boom. Okay. So import memo from React. Okay, to do's. This is our function to do's, our component, and so we import to do's and add to do. And in this case, I actually want to actually commit to typing this out. There's a level of interest here. So I'm gonna create a file called todos.tsx, and then I'm gonna copy all this code and paste it in here. And we have memo, we have to do. So this would be export default memo. Alright, so this, since we have types, I think I need to import props with children, and then here I'm gonna have props with children. I'm gonna give it the type. What type is it gonna be? It's gonna be interface, right? We're gonna have to do types, which will be this. We'll have to do's, which will be a string, and then we'll have an add to do, which will be a function type, which returns void. No. Let me think real quick. It will be a function. How do I ensure that it returns a certain type? Okay, let me just leave that for now, and then here I'll have to do types, and then todos.map to do's is an array, is a string array, right? Is a string array, so it's a string array. So there we go. And then in the page we'll have all of this stuff. Let me just do this. It's my page, it's my home. Get rid of this expensive function. Still using client. I'm just gonna copy all this stuff. I'm gonna paste them in here. Okay, so let's see. This is a type number. This is a type goodness me. This is string array. And then to do's, we need to import to do's. To do's from to do's. That's my component, and then add to do. Add to do is a method. We're passing in a function. Okay, this is the challenge. So type function void is not assignable to type that is not void. Let me see. Add to do returns void. So let me think real carefully here. So add to do what is add to do's type? It's a function. And here, add to do, we're passing in add to do, which is a function that returns void. Ooh. Is this supposed to be like this? Returns void. There we go. Okay, there we go. 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 This is how it's supposed to be. I'm glad I got that right, because yeah, you know, learning every day. Okay, so I guess that works and all my types are in. Increment also returns void. To-dos also the void function, right? Am I lying to myself? It's supposed to be here. Okay, there we go. These are void functions. So what do I do now? Just test out the application, refresh. So no, I need to go to callback. So the theory here is that you would think, in this example, you might think that to-do's component will not re-render unless to-do's change. Dude, I don't understand what memo is here in this case. What is memo? I think I need to research what memo is. So by using memo, we are telling React that the component complies with this requirement. So React doesn't need to re-render as long as its props haven't changed. So this doesn't need to re-render as long as to-dos or add to-do don't change. Oh, okay, so basically the magic is within this memo function here that I passed with to-dos, because I'm essentially telling it that, hey, don't re-render unless the component has changed, unless the props have changed. So that's the whole that's the point that they're trying to prove here. So I need to so this is the count. So I would think that this component right here is not re-rendering. So that's what they say. Okay. Try running this and click the count increment button. You will notice that to-do's component re-renders even when to-dos do not change. How do I know that? Why does this not work? Wait, how do I know that it's changing? Well, I wouldn't know. I don't know how you know that. You'll notice that to-do's component re-renders even when the to-dos do not change. Why does this not work? We are using memo, so the to-dos component should not re-render, since neither the to-dos nor state nor add to-do function. Since neither the to-dos nor state nor add to-do function are changing when the count is incremented, and they say state there because if these were to change, if to-dos were to change, then it goes into as props and it changes all this into this. So basically these props are changing. So neither the to-do state nor add to-do function are changing when its count is incremented. This is because of something called referential equality. Every time a component re-renders, its function gets recreated. Dude, I need to copy all this stuff and I need to add it over here for reference. Okay. thought this is how you add a comment in React. Okay, yeah, there we go. Okay, this is because of something called referential equality. Every time a component re-renders, its function gets recreated. Because of this, add to do function has actually changed. So let me read that again. Every time a component re-renders, its functions are recreated. So every time this component re-renders, so this component re-renders, its functions get recreated. What functions? These functions. So let's see. To fix this, we can use the useCallback hook to prevent the function from being recreated unless necessary. Use the useCallback hook to prevent the to-dos component from re-rendering needlessly. Let's see. So use state use callback, React DOM to use app. Const count set count equals so use okay. So this is just my normal. So add to do. Okay, so we would obviously focus on add to do because that's the function that gets recreated that to dos need, that the to dos component actually needs. So obviously we wouldn't worry about increments since it has nothing to do with to dos. Okay, so that's why we focus on use callback. And so is that it? And is there any difference here? To do is that to do child render, to do the map, to do index. Let me see if there's anything different. To do index, there's nothing different. Okay. Okay. So is that it? So we're just making sure, we're just using adding a use. This looks weird. Just place this here. So we're just using to do. So sorry, we're just using use callback, and we're just wrapping this entire function, this function, to prevent it from being recreated, essentially, because it does get re-rendered. Because the functions in React get re-rendered every time a component refresh, or whenever a component renders, its functions get recreated, and as a result, this component would re-render, since add to do's is being manipulated, it's being re-rendered, so it has to re-render. Okay, so here I would use callback, and I would do that, and I would do that. So to do's, right? So we need to specify what needs to change for it to re-render or get recreated if it needs to. Okay, I need to think. I'm glad I got the types done. Got the types out the way. So let me think about this real quick. So in the memo example, which is here, and I'll place this on the side. In the memo example, we use memo to prevent this function from, like this expensive function or whatever function, from being re-rendered every time unless it's obliges by count. Only if count is manipulated, then it can run. Expensive calculation can actually go ahead and run. But apart from that, we don't allow it to, and we only use memo for when use memo returns a value, so a string, a number, etc. But if we're trying to return a function, then we would use callback to prevent it from re-rendering. Okay, so yeah, man. I got this to work. I understand what's going on. I need to do more practice examples so that I can really understand what's going on. Well, I can understand. It's just that it's going to take a little bit of time for it to stick. So, and with that being said, I need to continue practicing and just manipulate it multiple times, use different routines and see, just so that I can have a better understanding of this. So yeah, man, it's been Daniel. I'm glad I could take you guys through whatever it was that I was doing today, and cheers. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.